Well, you were nodding as I read the intro, so clearly Oscar is being released.
Oh, that's right. After serving just 1/6 of his 5-year prison sentence, Oscar Pistorius will be released under correctional supervision next week Friday, I beg your pardon, and certainly this is about to be one of the biggest stories again in the next week relating to this. Many questions being asked. I mean, it's Women's Month. Number one, we've got women's organisations that are coming out to say that Oscar Pistorius should have received a harsher sentence, but certainly the law is applying in this case and that he does become eligible to be placed under correctional supervision after just serving that 1/6 of his sentence at the Kgosi Mampuru prison.
Kindly please take me through that procedure. You spoke about correctional supervision. What is the procedure for someone who is being under correctional supervision?
Look, offenders that receive correctional or placed under correctional supervision are those offenders who may have committed very serious crimes but are not deemed to be people who are a danger to society, and that the justice system could otherwise believe that they are not best served if they're placed within these facilities for a very long time. So Oscar Pistorius falls under that category. But in terms of the conditions under which he will be placed under correctional supervision, he could either be eligible to be placed in an electronic program where he will be monitored, his movements, or he might then need to regularly visit a parole officer and, of course, show his presence at a correctional officer. But when we spoke to the Correctional Services Department, they're not really going to tell us exactly what those conditions are, what Oscar Pistorius is allowed to do, what he's not going to do. But in terms of the process, when he is released from the Kgosi Mampuru prison, he would then need to go to another building where one of the community correctional officers would then need to read him his conditions and the conditions that he's now got to apply to while he continues to serve that sentence, but of course under correctional supervision. He will then return to his uncle's Waterkloof home in Pretoria. And certainly a lot's already being said about that. We've got the women's organisations were saying the timing of this release on its own is quite bad or significant in that South Africa does have its own fair share of problems relating to the abuse of women and children. And for Oscar Pistorius to be released after this much publicised killing of his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp, is quite unfortunate.
Let's talk about the family that is closely and directly affected by this release, which is, of course, Reeva Steenkamp's family. Have you spoken to them? How are they taking the news?
Well, Tumolo, we've just concluded an interview with Reeva Steenkamp's family, and you can pick up utter devastation when they speak. Let's not forget that it's Reeva Steenkamp's birthday on Wednesday. So Oscar Pistorius will be released from prison just 2 days after Reeva Steenkamp's birthday. So one of the family members that we spoke to says they don't even plan to be in South Africa on Friday. They're travelling abroad. They're going to celebrate Reeva Steenkamp's birthday on Wednesday. But as for them on Friday, that is insignificant to them. They've chosen to just continue with their lives, to focus on the positive. None of this, they say, is going to bring back Reeva Steenkamp, but they'll be far away from all of this. But what we do know is that Reeva Steenkamp's parents will be in Port Elizabeth, at their home in Port Elizabeth. In terms of reaction from that side, it's highly unlikely that we're going to get reaction from the immediate, or the parents rather. But in terms of Oscar Pistorius, as you know, there've just been a few media releases that have been sent out to the media. Whether they will call a press conference really remains to be seen. It is highly unlikely, but certainly worth something hearing from the Correctional Services Department next week.
All right, Chriselda Lewis, thank you so much for your time and sharing this information with us. Thank you so much. That was our reporter, Chriselda Lewis, of course, updating us on the release of Oscar Pistorius, expected very soon. And as she reiterated, the family is not really taking it that well, with some family members saying they might not even be in the country on that day. But